Yeah, you know, I was telling you guys yesterday that my parents were without power because they're done in Houston. They got power back on. The people across the street don't have power. So it's so...
hit and miss.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
All over the city. And they're really struggling right now as far as heat is concerned, just like we are here.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they have heat advisories in place because that heat index will be over the triple-digit mark.
Wow.
And, I mean, it has to do with the high humidity. Houston just has high humidity this time of the year. We know this. But unfortunately, a lot of the moisture kind of left on the ground from Barrel also. So it's just not a great situation. And this is the pattern that's bringing on this intense heat, not just for areas of southeast Texas, but across both coasts. We have two ridges of high pressure. Notice how North Texas, we're kind of in the middle of two. And you might think that's worse. It's not. Actually, being in the middle of two systems is bringing us a little bit of comfort for the afternoon, and I'll show you why. But this ridge of high pressure is the strongest one and the one that will influence our weather over the next several days. We do have excessive heat warnings in place across several states. Along the west, there is the heat advisory across southeast Texas, and of course, the heat advisories that extend from the mid-Atlantic to the northeast. As far as temperatures go, right underneath that ridge of high pressure is where we find the most intense heat. That's where temperatures, actual temperatures, will be over 110 for Las Vegas and in Phoenix. Areas like Los Angeles, temperatures are going to be in the 80s, but that's not factoring in the heat index. And of course, we're also watching Houston. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s, but again, the heat index in the triple digits. For us, because we're in between two systems, we're not right underneath that ridge of high pressure. We could see a few isolated thunderstorms develop. And what we're going to see is under the heat of the day, that's whenever temperatures start climbing a little more, between 2 and about 4, a few isolated storms could very well pop up across North Texas. It's not going to be big coverage. Most of us will stay completely dry. And if you see one of those isolated storms, we could very well see a quick downpour, but it's not going to last very long. That's around 4. You see a slightly better coverage there. That's around 6. And as soon as we start to lose the heat from the day, we'll start to see a lot of this coverage decrease. And if those thunderstorms pop up, they'll impact the high temperature. We'll likely only be in the low 90s if that happens for Kaufman, Ellis, and even Dallas County. But otherwise, if you don't see the rain, I mean, those temperatures are climbing into the upper 90s today. 97 degrees expected across Dallas, Fort Worth, and across a big portion of our western counties. This is what it looks like right now from our Cedar Hill camera. 90 degrees at the moment. You can see a few of these clouds trying to bubble up there. Maybe some eventually producing rain. But again, most of us dry. 89 degrees right now at DFW. It feels like 94. So we do have a little bit higher humidity than yesterday. That's impacting our heat index, or the feels like temperature. It feels warmer than the actual temperature, and winds remain very light throughout the entire day. Temperature still climbs to about 94 degrees around 2, 97 degrees around 4. Because the light winds are in place, it's another reason why we have the air quality alert that we mentioned in the last half hour. As far as any rain coverage goes, it's going to be pretty low at about a 10%. Here's how the pattern is going to change in the next few days. We're going to see the ridge of high pressure lengthen and include a bit more of North Texas, but this is going to happen weekend into early next week. That's when our temperature climbs a little more and brings the possibility for those triple digits. But until then, we'll be trending about 1 or 2 degrees above what's considered normal this time of the year. So most of us do stay out of the triple digits with our actual temperature. We do see a small potential for rain almost a few afternoons, including today and this weekend. And then next week, early next week, when that ridge of high pressure tries to approach, we'll get pretty close to the triple digits. We might actually reach it here early next week. So, of course, we'll be watching that. We'll be right back.